Hi, my dear students. Welcome back. On this section here, I'm going to help you design a better login system, a simpler login system, a system that we can use very easily and very secure. A couple lectures ago, I introduced you to something called the crypt function. All right? And some of you are having issues since it's a little complicated to use. So sometimes it doesn't work the way we want to because we don't understand it. But on this section here, I'm going to show you how to do it in an easier way. And if you hear me a little bit out of breath, it's just because my spaghettis were actually burning. Yeah, I'm cooking some spaghettis downstairs, and they were burning. Yeah, that's what happens if you see me out of breath, if you hear me out of breath. But anyway, let me show you in the PHP.net website what I'm talking about, this password hash thing. All right, basically this is a function. It's going to take three parameters. It's going to take the password, the original password that we're going to pass in. It's also going to take the algorithm, all right, and it's going to take some options. All right, so this is just a brief summary of what it is. So this is the first algorithm, all right, and this is the default algorithm. It's called password_default. You can read all about it, all right, in this website here. Then we got the options, and we're gonna see how we can pass options to these functions. I'm not gonna go into a lot of details about it because all the information is right here in the PHP.net website. I'm just going to show you how to use it, how to implement it in your CMS. So let's get right to it. All right. So first, let me just show you how it works really quickly. All right. So I'm just gonna create a page right here in my CMS. I'm just gonna call it test.php. All right, you need to understand a little bit of it just to make it work good. All right, so for example, let's just echo here. Let's use the function right away. Let's call it password hash. All right, this is the function. All right, and you need to have PHP 5 and over to make it work. Okay, and doesn't have a $sign. Sorry about that. All right, so if you want to check if you have PHP 5 and over, all you have to do is put the PHP info here. All right, just like I showed you in the beginning, and then you can go to your CMS. Let me just go right here. All right, and then to test to whatever page you made. In my case, I just made this page test, and you can see that I'm in PHP 5 and over. All right, it will not work under PHP 5. So make sure that your PHP is updated. All right, so let's just use a function real quick and show you how it works. So let's say, for example, I have this password that I pass in. This is the first parameter, which is going to be the password. All right, and the second parameter is going to be the algorithm. In this case, I'm just going to use the algorithm default. All right, I think I'm spelling it correctly. It's basically a constant if you see it right here, you see. And then we can pass in an array of options. All right, and this array could be, and it's got to be an associative array. And it could be the salt. And for those of you that don't remember, the salt is just a string of characters, a lot of characters, around 22 characters. But we don't have to. This will produce a hash, a string of character by itself, all right, by default. And that's the way we want it. We don't want to be producing our own salt if we don't have to, right? So we could say the parameter that I want to pass in is the cost, and I'm going to explain how that works. So the cost basically is the amount of time it takes this function to give you a new hash. Basically, it's just going to make your server delay more the password hashing. All right, so the bigger this number is, the slower this function will work. All right, and that makes it very good because imagine that you have a software and that software is scanning, is inputting in your application thousands of passwords every second or every 2 seconds. If this is low, it's just going to take that software maybe 2 or 3 years instead of 1 week. If you make it lower, if you make it like this, it's going to be too fast. Now you don't want to make it too large because then your server will be processing too much. All right, so let's make it 10 right now. Let's just see how that looks right now. Let's go to our test page, enter. If I refresh, you can see how fast that changes, right? You see, so here we have some parameters, and you can look at php.net website and you can see that each of this is a different, it has a different name. All right, so we have the password, the hash, the salt, the cost. This is the cost, is number 10 right here. All right, they have a lot of information here that you can, you know, read about it. Again, I'm not going to go into detail about it right now. So if I make that cost bigger, let's say make it 14, save, enter, refresh, you can see that it changed to 14. That was a cost right there. And you saw how long it takes. Refresh again. Did you see that? It takes a lot longer. All right, it's just gonna make this take longer to process. All right, we're gonna keep it around 12. That's what we want. All right, so I just wanted to show you how that works. And we're gonna be using the algorithm called bcrypt. All right, and let's go back here, and you can do control to find it. Crypt, I believe that's the right there. All right, you see that? So basically the crypt is just gonna use the blowfish algorithm, which is what we were using before, the 2y $, whatever, right here with the identifier. That's what we're gonna be using from now on. All right, basically it's a really strong algorithm, so that's what we're gonna be using. So now that I show you how this works, let's go ahead and apply it real quick. All right, and we're gonna start it right here in the registration.php page, just to give you an example. All right, we're using a lot of stuff here that we don't need, right? Because we don't need to save the salt in the database anymore in the table. So let's go to our PHP admin, all right, and delete this salt, because we're not gonna need it anymore, guys, unless you just want to learn, watch what I'm doing. If you got it working already, if you got your login working, don't worry about it. You can leave it the way it is. But if you want to learn it the easier way and a better way, keep watching and do what I do. So let's go to the CMS users, and here you can see that we have the user password, but we are saving the run salt right here. All right, we're not going to be doing that anymore. We're going to be actually putting everything right here in user password, straight there. All right, so this is the way we're going to be starting it. Password. All right, and we're going to assign what? Let's go back here and let's just take all this, put it right there, and I'm just going to put it right here. There we go. All right, you don't have to put it in quotes if you don't want to. Beautiful. So now when we register a user, that's going to go and take it in there. Now let's go ahead, and we don't need this, and we don't need this either. All right, perfect. So now let's go ahead and try this and see what do we get. Let's go to our CMS. All right. Oops. Let's go to the registration page, and let's just put a name, new user underscore user, and I'm just gonna put my email address. I'm not afraid to give it, because you know what, guys, Edwin School of Code.com, edwinschoolofcode.com, and password secret. Registration has been submitted. Let's go and check it out. Users. Now you can see that the new user has a newer password encrypted already. All right, so now this is saved in the database. In the next lecture, I'm going to show you how to verify this password here. All right, and log in the user, right? Perfect. So we're gonna update our system with this new password system, which is gonna be easier for you guys to make it work. It's gonna be a lot more secure than anything you have ever done, because you can change the cost here as big as you want, right? Well, you don't want to make it too big because then you slow down your server. But anyway, thank you so much, and I see you in the next lecture.